doing? Anyway, it's been a little damp around here. We're in one of the areas in Maryland that saw lots and lots and lots of water. We got lucky. All we got was a bit of a flood in the basement and a dead sump pump. So we went out in the nasty, nasty rain and got ourselves a new pump and picked up a little critter food for the cats and the dogs and a little extra food for us and put some gas in the tank just in case. Luckily for us, it didn't really get as bad as it could, but the driving to the store was definitely interesting. Any place that was low on the road was full of water. There were trees down. We had chunks of tree to try to avoid. There were places that were kind of down in a gully off the side of the road that, yeah, they're pretty well soaked. The worst problem here was that we had there's a town that's a little farther west of us called Westernport, and it's on a branch of part of the northern branch of the Potomac, but there's also a big lake upstream of them, and that didn't help. They had to send boats in to collect the kids in one of the schools. They had to take the kids and the teachers up to the second floor, and they were starting to lose ground on the second floor, and the rescue people came down with boats just as fast as they could. We got to see two of them go by. It took them a while, but they got the whole lot of them out without losing anybody. That town is currently still under about a foot to 2 feet of mud. Ew. It was supposed to rain again last night, and it didn't. And it's supposed to rain again tonight. We'll see. My kitten just jumped up my back and latched on, and with any luck, she'll run faster than I can, because I'm going to swat her. That was not fun. Anyway, we've got the standard, I don't really know what we're doing. I'm using the Dream Street that is Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. And I've got my eyebrows on. Yeah, got them on. I'm going to use a little of this CoverGirl Outlast that swears it's a 3-in-1. It's got your primer, your foundation, and your concealer all in one little bloop. We'll see. I've been using... Cat, you are not helping. Go lay down. No, you're not getting snacks. Go lay down. She thinks she ought to get snacks any old time she comes wandering through. And I'm like, yeah, not so much. She has a thing about kitten snacks. And I'm like, girly, girly, girly. Do you think you can get over yourself and stop climbing my back? She has lately decided that climbing Mount Backmore is the bestest thing in the whole world. And I'm going to have to get Meester to grab hold of her and hold her still so I can cure the petties. Yes, we do trim the cat petties. I am very seriously against doing things like declawing cats. I think it's wrong. I think it's unhealthy for the cats. You know, they can't just take the toenails out like they do with people that have chronic ingrown toenails. They actually nip off the last joint of their toes. Which is not easy for them to get used to. And it's basically mutilation. And yeah, no. I've had a few people remind me that if I can't convince her to stop and she starts going after my legs and feet, I may have to resort to that solution to keep from ending up getting another infection and losing more body parts. I'm going, we'll cross that bridge if we get to it. She's still pretty young and rather ambitious about doing things, so I'm hoping as she gets a little older she'll settle down. So far so good. I'll put that out of the way. Then I'm going to get my most favorite eye primer. I tried something the other day that was just, it was not good. I've been watching some other people doing some of the really extremely impressive halo eyes and doing the side swoop out with the makeup and, you know, doing the halo eye and being all cute. And doing the black and silver thing. And I tried a couple different variants of the halo eye with including the black and silver thing, and It is just not for my eyes. My eyes, every time I tried it, no matter what variant of technique I used, I looked like I'd been punched in the eye. So I'm going to try something a little different. I was just going to sit down and try it to see if I make too much of a mess before I try it for, a film, but I'm going, what the heck? If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. And that happens. People are allowed to know that that happens. Yeah, now the Kathleen lights, there is the color. The color names are on the back. So I'm not going to be able to tell you the color names as we go. And let me see what I'm going to do first. Now, some of this stuff might go with my shirt, sort of. Some of it, not so much. We will see how this goes. Now, this one's kind of a deep coral, a little more orange than what some people would call coral. Now, for those of you who, like me, have hooded eyes, there is a maneuver which I am currently using. It's not an outer V that goes this way. It's an outer 7. You bring this down farther, you go up farther, you don't try and do a V here, and then you kind of skirt the top of the crease just a little bit. And it still lifts the eye, but it's different than the one that goes straight out. Because straight out is not always the way to go. Take that as you will. Now, I learned about the outer 7 from Shelley on Geek Out of Water. She's one of my favorite people to follow. Been following her for years now. And she does an excellent job of explaining the outer 7 concept. She pretty much got it down to a science and an art. She spends part of her time doing this stuff on YouTube, part of the time working on her own skincare line from home, and part of the time as a college professor and she's just wonderful. Smart lady. Very smart lady. Okay. Now, I'm going to take something just a little bit darker. Looks kind of like pale chocolate. I'm going to get right into the crease. And into that empty zone that I left with the 7. And I'm going to bring that red chocolate down a little bit and out to the corner on the low side. While I'm at it, I'll put some of that under the lower lashes. Yes, I'm messy. Darken that little piece of a corner here just a bit. Do the same thing under the lashes again. Now, the nice thing is I'm barely having to touch the pans with the brush to get it to pick up plenty of color, and it's like I've had this thing forever. And it's still just absolutely wonderful. Don't want to lose this bit. I think the brown will hold its own, mostly. Drag some of this down here. Put just a tad more in the corner. So I've got my dark spot out here. Yes, my mouth hangs open when I'm doing this. It's a requirement. Just ask me, I'll tell you better. It's a requirement. Now, we are hoping that if it does in fact rain again, that the new pump will continue working like a champ, because yesterday before we went and got that new pump, the water in the basement was up to my husband's knees, and he's one of them people that's got really long shanks, and I'm going, that's almost 2 foot. Luckily, most of the stuff that we have stored in the basement is either in plastic or up on some tables we have down there. It's like we haven't finished doing things like putting shelves in and all that stuff. It wasn't at the top of the list when we first got here, and it's still not at the top of the list. We've had a few other things we needed to fiddle with. You know, when you buy an old house, there's like stuff to be fiddled, and it must be fiddled. There is no getting around it. The fiddling must be done. Do. Now, things like getting rid of the really heinous paint on the wall. Well, in our case, it's the absolutely heinous wallpaper. There are several layers of this wallpaper on the walls, and they've painted over it. And when you touch it, you can feel it hitting the wall behind. And apparently the wall behind also has paneling. And I'm going, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. But sometimes you just got some pale, kind of a cream color that I'm going to just kind of blend this out across the top a little bit. Don't want all the edges to be too sharp. I don't want it to look like I put a stencil on my face and just followed the lines. Have you seen them stencils that people are showing off that got 3 little spots in it? You put it on your eyelid and then you put 3 pigments in the little openings, And then when you take the stencil off, you just sit and blend everything so that it's like not just little blobs sitting there. And I'm going, seriously, people. Yeah, it's not like the stencils for eyeliner and that kind of stuff that in some cases does make some sort of sense. Not always, but in some cases. Got my e.l.f. glitter glue here. I'm going to start putting some glitter on. Anyway, it's like I can understand the little eyeliner guides because some people cannot, like me, cannot do a straight line in the correct angle and get them to match on both sides without an assistive device. So that kind of makes sense to me. Kind of. Now, I'm going to take this kind of bronzy sparkle. See? And I'm just going to pat it on there. It's the only thing I don't like about this lighted mirror. It shuts off to suit itself. Well, the other thing is I don't have it plugged in, so it's running on its battery. It's a rechargeable, but I so seldom use the light function that it doesn't get charged up often. It's like I always worry if it's going to blow my face out color-wise if I use it, you know? And then I have to go in and fiddle more with the light settings. When I go to do the editing, it just takes that much longer with the editing. Oh, if any of the rest of you are using the DaVinci Resolve, which is the editing program I'm using, if you need assistance with trying to figure out some of the stuff, there is this guy called Daniel Batal. It's on YouTube. And he does a series of shorts and full-length videos that's called Resolve for Noobs. And he's really good at explaining. And he doesn't talk so fast that you have trouble keeping up. And I think that's wonderful. Now, there's a bunch of other people on there that have got some great tutorials for it. Some of them talk too fast, though. They just talk too fast, and I can't keep up with it. Now, let's put a little of this under there. This is the center shimmer. I'm not going to do the whole thing with all the shimmers. Now, if you like editing programs and like to try stuff, the editing program that I'm using, DaVinci Resolve, is a freebie variant of a professional program. And yeah, you don't get all the fancies that you can do with it, but you can get plenty enough. As the freebie. And I rather am impressed with it. Anybody who's been hanging around long enough knows that I tried the one that was called Wonder something, and when I first got it, since I hadn't bought it, it had that big watermark thing going across it, which I really didn't appreciate. And to get rid of the watermark, you have to buy the program, and I'm going, but I don't want to buy the program. I'm not sure I like it enough to want to buy the program. And it wasn't that it was terribly expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. Okay, that ought to cover that a little. I was going, no, this is not going to work for me, because when it came time to renew, they had almost tripled the price. And I said, no, I need to look for something else. So I started looking, and I found DaVinci Resolve, and I found it because Nikki Raven was talking about it. So I figured, I'll go look, see what it's about. And I decided I was right happy with it. I was definitely right happy with the bit about it being free. So I downloaded it. I played with it for a little while and I said, yeah, this is a good thing. So I made sure I had everything loaded and started practicing and seeing what I could do with it. And now I use it all the time. All the times. Sometimes I still have trouble with lighting, but that's just me. It has nothing to do with the program. The program will do what I tell it to, and there's all kinds of color adjustments and lighting adjustments and all manner of that, and ways to transition from one clip to another, so that if I'm doing, oh dear, my sinuses, you don't get as many jump cuts, you get a little smoother cut, or a bit of a transition animation. Okay. Speaking of transition animations and such, I'm going to, nobody needs to see me hanging my mouth open any more than it's already been. Well, I put on my mascara and make sure I've got all my lines where I want it. So I'll be back in a bit for the lippy. I know for you it's like it's not that big a deal. And now a few words from our intrepid creator. 1. Don't go broke over makeup. It's just colored powder. 2. There is no bail money. Don't ask. I need it for myself. 3. Keep an eye on your family and neighbors in case they need help. 4. Do something nice for someone for no damn reason. 5. Take care of yourself. Keep your hopes up. 6. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. Good trouble is the only thing that might get you help with bail money. Look it up if you need to. Now, let's see if we can get back to the rest of the video. Okie dokie, I'll be back. Got my eyes on, except for this part. I really like that creamy color. Makes a really nice bright spot in the corner. It's kind of a satin. It's got just the least bit of a shimmer. Least bit. I hate that. I hate that a lot. You get mostly finished, and then you've got this little blip in the corner of your eye, and you're going, I know I washed my face. Then you get this little tiny annoyance in the corner of your eye. Tiny. I always get lost on which way to go to open this thing. Alright. Well, we know I don't go outside unless I have to. But trying to fool people into thinking otherwise. We all know better. Try and convince myself that this does something to cover that bottle. Why does Milani make these things so hard to get into? I never understand it. Yes, I start up high. And I don't come down too low, but I do mix it with the bronzer just a bit. Don't want any of them straight lines. Don't want it looking like I got tiger stripes on my face. Oh, speaking of tiger stripes on your face, they've got somebody now who's decided to use the handles of scissors laid against your face to do placement for your bronzer and your blush, and I'm going, seriously, people, seriously. People are just getting weirder by the minute. By the blessed minute. I'm going, that's really not a hack. Well, technically it is, but it's something done by an old hack trying to come up with something new. I don't care how old the practitioner is. That's somebody who's trying to come up with something new, and it's like, really, that old hack ain't gonna fly. You need a new game, because everybody knows that one. It's like knowing 3-card Monty and where's the pebble. Come up with a new game. Yes, I know. You're supposed to put it just under the tail of the eyebrow. I put it where I want it. And that's where I want it. Alrighty. Mascara is on. Here comes the lip liner. Yeah, I'm starting to do straight across instead of trying to do the Cupid's bow, because the Cupid's bow is starting to flatten, which is really sad. I used to really enjoy having that sharp point at the top of those, at the top of the either side of the Cupid's bow. Take a little more down that way on this side, because this side is lower than this side. There we go. There's the lip. I'm so cute. Anyway, tell me what you think. No, really. Let me know what you think. I think this light's about to drive me up the wall. I think this side needs a little more of this. Because it's a little off balance. And some better. It's not quite so pale in comparison. Alrighty. Yes, now, I know I talked about DaVinci Resolve a lot. Not sponsored. Not known unto them. No discount codes. I mean, it's a free program. All of the people who do tutorials online on YouTube are freebies. Let's see. Oh, I like that. Little spritz there. I need to get some more fans. I used most of my fans for decor over there. There we go. Set and ready to party. Set and ready to watch my cats. And some more YouTube. And all of that there stuff. Time to put away all the stuff that I got out. I will see you another time. Bye.